Lena, a young journalist, arrived at Crescent Manor on a stormy night. The manor had been abandoned for years, and rumors swirled about its haunted history. No one had dared to enter for decades. Her editor had sent her with one task: prove or disprove the supernatural claims. The moment Lena stepped through the gates, the wind howled and the trees swayed unnaturally. The air was thick with the feeling of something alive, watching her. She hesitated but pushed forward, determined to uncover the truth. The grand front door creaked open, as if the house had been waiting for her. Inside, the temperature dropped sharply. A cold shiver ran down Lena's spine. The manor felt as though it was alive, breathing with a history long buried. She set up her equipment: cameras, motion sensors, and voice recorders, hoping to capture whatever was haunting the manor. As the night deepened, the whispers started. At first, it seemed like the wind, but the voices grew louder, clearer. She couldn't make out the words, but they were unmistakable, calling her name. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, plunging her into darkness. Lena scrambled to find her flashlight, the beam cutting through the pitch black. She turned it towards the staircase. At the top stood a shadowy figure. It was tall, with glowing eyes that pierced the darkness. The figure didn't move, but it watched her. Frozen in fear, Lena couldn't move. The figure remained still, unblinking. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but her legs were paralyzed with terror. Finally, the figure began to descend the stairs, its movements slow and deliberate. Lena bolted up the stairs, heart pounding in her chest. The whispers grew louder, now a chorus of voices, urging her to leave, to flee before it was too late. At the top of the stairs, she saw a hallway stretching out before her, and at the end, a door slowly creaked open. Lena approached it, her breath shallow. The moment she reached for the handle, the whispers turned into guttural growls. She hesitated, but something compelled her to open the door. Inside was a dimly lit room, the only light coming from a flickering candle. The walls were covered in dust and age. It was the portrait on the far wall that caught her eye. It depicted a man, his smile twisted, his eyes following her every movement. Lena felt her pulse quicken. She stepped into the room, her breath shaky. Suddenly, the air grew thick, suffocating. A cold hand grabbed her wrist, and she spun around, only to find no one there. Panic gripped her as the temperature dropped even further. She tried to pull away, but the grip tightened. The shadows in the room seemed to come alive, swirling around her. The whispers were now deafening, their voices becoming sharp and angry. Lena's flashlight rolled across the floor, casting erratic shadows on the walls. She yanked her wrist free, stumbling backward. The door slammed shut behind her with a deafening crash. She turned to find the figure standing right in front of her. Its eyes glowed even brighter, and its grin stretched wider, showing sharp, jagged teeth. It took a step closer, its presence suffocating. "You shouldn't have come here," it hissed, its voice a cruel whisper. "Now you belong to this house." Lena turned and ran. The hallway seemed endless, stretching farther and farther as she tried to escape. The shadows were closing in on her. The walls seemed to shift, making it impossible to find her way out. No matter how fast she ran, she couldn't escape the darkness that followed. With each step, the whispers grew louder, the figure's laughter echoing through the corridors. Her legs were growing weak, her breath short. Just as she thought she couldn't run anymore, the manor seemed to swallow her whole. The last thing she saw was the shadowy figure, its glowing eyes locking onto hers. Lena was never seen again. The manor remained abandoned, its dark history continuing to haunt those who dared to enter. The whispers would forever echo in the halls of Crescent Manor, waiting for the next curious soul to become its prisoner.